Finally, on the show, let's touch on Victor Osimhen. He's been named the best under 23 player in the Italian Seria. I mean, he received the official trophy recently, where he posed for images for Napoli. I mean, he's been a key player for Napoli so far this season. But sadly, it could have been a happy ending, but they lost out to AC Milan for the Scudetto title. Now, another player you're talking about, stay move. Another player is Victor Osimhen. He's been linked as well to several top clubs in Europe as well. Now, getting his accolade, and how would you sum up the season for Victor Osimhen and Napoli? Was it a disappointment for you that they couldn't clinch the? We all wanted them to win that title in Italy, but they let it slip, in the tail end of the season. But Victor Osimhen, best player, under 23 player in this season. How would you sum up the season?
I'm a secret admirer of AC Milan. We all know that. And it's taken them 11 years to come back and win it. I love Zlatan Ibrahimovic to the very, very bone marrows. And I like the way this team came together. They almost won it last season. They lost it, so they came back for an encore, and they've won it. I'm happy for AC Milan. Napoli, obviously, were shooting above their weight. Where they've ended this season is the highest they could have ended. Let's not forget that they had to battle a lot of injury. They have a very lean squad compared to Inter Milan and AC Milan. So for them to be in the title dogfight from the start to the end, I think that if Osimhen had not gone out injured at the time he got injured, they would have put daylight between them and the chasing pack. They would have won the league title. So on that front, for Osimhen, it's a great season. Like, I'm very, very excited. Osimhen have proven that he is the real deal. He is what people who believe in him thinks he is. I've heard people tell me, "Oh, Rashford is better than him. This one is better than." Like, everybody thinks that everybody is better than Osimhen. But the truth is, Osimhen have earned the plaudits of. He's not a fluke. He's not a one-off. He's not just that guy. To get the kind of injury that he gets and come back and still scoring with his head, still jumping as high as he does, still scoring goals, creating goals, not even being scared of what is in front of him, tells you the kind of mind that the player has got. And for that, I would appreciate. I think that if Osimhen was a Brazilian or probably a European, we would rate him differently. We'll speak about him differently. But because he's a Nigerian, we are the ones who are even rating him poorly. Some Nigerians will even tell you he doesn't even deserve to win the best under 23 player in the Italian Seria. That's close to being the best player of the season, okay? But if you remember, he was out for COVID twice. Yeah. He was out with a long-term injury for about 6 weeks, and then he came back. It took him time. He went to play the World Cup qualifiers, and then he didn't make it to the squad. But still, on all of that, I think it's the club's highest goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken.
14 goals, yeah. 14 league goals, yeah?
14 league goals for Napoli, for a player that was out for about 12 games, didn't play about 12 or so games in the season. It tells you that if he had played all the games, maybe we'll be talking about him also competing for the top goal scorer award. So he's really done well. Last season, I said he was going to escort Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He didn't do that. This season, he's done it almost on the double. Zlatan scored 6 goals this season, if I'm not mistaken. And you see the numbers that he's pulled in. It tells you a whole lot about the man. Now, the question is, should he move or shouldn't he move?
There were reports that Arsenal put in a bid and Napoli turned it down. I don't know how true that is. Arsenal put up a record bid, but it was turned down by Napoli as well. So, should he hold out for Napoli next season or should he move?
Victor Osimhen have fallen in love with Napoli. I mean, I had a chat with him. He loves the people. He loves the city. He loves the club. It's hard now for him to say he wants to leave. He can't be he can't be a yo-yo footballer anymore. There is got to be a time where you want to be a club legend. Unfortunately, Napoli is like Tottenham Hotspur. They are not really the front runner to win a league. You don't predict them as the top 3 title challenger. Top 3 title challengers in Italy are Juventus, AC Milan, and Inter Milan. Yeah. So you now bring them to you put them behind Lazio and Roma. You now have Roma, Lazio, and Napoli. The last 2 seasons, Napoli have been shooting way above their mark where they are supposed to be. Can they do it? Napoli have had Gonzalo Higuain, and they didn't win the league title. They've also now have Osimhen come close. They've not won the league title. Should he move I don't want him to get to the point where Napoli now start struggling to qualify for Europa again. You saw what happened with Atalanta, where they start struggling to qualify for Europa again. They get disillusioned, they get tired of trying, almost getting it done, but not getting through the finishing line, and then it becomes a bad one. Should he move? Yes, I think it should move now. It's conquered Italy by my own reckoning. It might not have won the league, but it's proven his mark there. Should he move? Yes, but what club is he going to go to? Another thing is Arsenal didn't qualify for the Champions League. So to move from a club that's playing in the Champions League and go to a club that's playing Europa, the only benefit he will get is to get more salaries. Right now he's on 100,000 euros a week, which is 84,000 pounds a week. At Arsenal, it will get anything from 150 to 250. Yeah. Okay, if he decides to move on current form, on his current performance and market value, it will get between 150 to 250 a week, which is fantastic for him economically. And before anybody say, he's looking for money, what is Mbappe looking for? And what are the other players that are coming to the Premier League looking for? So money is very, very important. Even players that are coming from places where they don't have hundreds of thousands of extended family members are going for money. Why would a player who is responsible for feeding an entire nation not go for money? So if that opportunity comes and the deal is good, why not move? I think that if he goes to a club like Arsenal, there is a potential that if Arsenal can take this dead team, that's one of the worst team that Arsenal have had in years, in the last 50 or 40 or 60 years. This is one of the worst teams that Arsenal have had. They almost made it to the Champions League. So if Arsenal can take this kind of a dead team where God, their top striker is their highest assist maker, like I said, you most likely would say to yourself that with an Osimhen in that squad and maybe another striker joining in, and with Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Emile Smith now having the experience of this season and moving it forward into next season, they just might be shooting to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. That's a possibility. It should move to Arsenal. And people say, because I'm an Arsenal fan, that's why I'm saying that. Having said that, though, if there are other better offers available to him, one club he shouldn't go to anyway is Chelsea. I think he should move to any of the clubs that are good. I also don't think that Newcastle, this is the time for him to go. Why not Chelsea? I think Chelsea have too many problems around them, and when you have a new owners like to make statements. They might sign him now, just like the players at Newcastle have, and then just somewhere in January and the next season they will now want to make marquee signing, and then Osimhen will now go from being the marquee signing now to become what Kai Havertz and Timo Werner have become those players dispensable. You don't want that to happen, because I think that the new owners will want to make statement up front. Like they want to sign in some big names, some players, and make some very, very good statement, especially with the way Man City is going and how solidly structured Liverpool is. Chelsea want to make statement. They have the money. But if an Arsenal signs Osimhen, for instance, Osimhen have the next 2, 3, or 4 seasons to be the leading striker in the team untouched, unless his form drops, unless he's not delivering like Pepe. But I think he would deliver. But if you go to Chelsea, man, when Timo Werner was signed, everybody say, this is the guy. Before you know, they were looking for Lukaku. Before you know, they were farming at Tammy Abraham that scored a lot of goals the previous season. So you don't want that for a Victor Osimhen, because it becomes discouraging when, and then it's a club that is not stable with coaches. 1 minute they are firing the coach and bringing in a new set of coach. Not like Chelsea is not a good club. Chelsea is a great club, one of the best run club in the last 20 years. But Roman Abramovich is leaving and a new owner is coming. A lot would happen. And it might happen with new set of coaches, new ideologies, and the rest of them. You don't want to put him there and, it become a shaky position for him. For Newcastle, I think because they don't have continental competitions to play, really be too much of him, because what it means is if he goes to Newcastle, the responsibility to qualify them for Europe will be on his shoulders. And if you look at the Premier League today, the Premier League says Man City are still going to defend this title. They are going to win the treble of the Premier League title. Liverpool are still going to be there because they've already done the good business, and then they're doing the backup work to take care of the French players' position. And then Chelsea is still going to be there. So those 3 top positions are already taken. Then you now have Eric Ten Hag, I don't think will make it into the top 4 with Manchester United. If Levy does not back Antonio Conte to do well to sign the players he wants to sign, they might not make it, because once Haaland comes in, Harry Kane will start saying himself as, that's where I would have been if Grealish have won the league title. This is the kind of title I think he will go home and start crying.
So if they don't get the right backing, they just might lose that top spot again. And then there is Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham, or the rest of the gang that will come in. Newcastle still haven't, laid their eggs properly in the right basket. They've not really set themselves up on. I don't know what their agenda is, whether they want to take a long-term approach to it or they want to do snatch and grab like Chelsea, Roman Abramovich did. That's the approach I'll follow. That's also the approach of Silvio Berlusconi when he bought AC Milan in 1986. If that's the approach they want to follow, let's say it goes. But I don't think Osimhen would be good to be a guinea pig in the project. Osimhen should come back, maybe come to Newcastle later as the icing on the cake, not the baking pan as he is right now, because all of these players that they have right now, the coach even that they have, we already hear that they are planning to sack him and bringing in Mourinho again. So you see that these guys are the baking pan. Some of them are even the oven. They are not the cake. When everything is done, when they are serving the cake on the table, nobody sees the oven or the baking pan. So you don't want to be the incubator or the guinea pig with which they use to pursue their qualification to Europe project. And once they qualify, then I say, oh, we need the big name players. We want to go and buy Mbappe. We want to buy Haaland. We want to sign that one. You don't want to be that kind of a player.
All right, for Osimhen, he came out to say, for me, this is a big, on receiving the trophy for the best under 23 player, I said, for me, this is a big milestone. Having went through a lot of tough times from multiple injuries and all, I still stood my ground against all odds. But I wouldn't be able to do this without the support of my family, friends, fans, and of course, my teammates, the coaches. I sincerely appreciate you all. This one is also for the people who want to see me fail. You all motivate me to put a lot of you all in shame. Xiao. See you next season. God is the greatest. What a way to wrap up the season. And kudos to Victor Osimhen for winning the best under 23 player in the Seria for the just concluded season.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.